so much. I'm going to turn to another important aspect of the Mangione case, the weapon. With us now is gun safety expert Steve Wolf. Steve, police say Mangione was carrying a 3D-printed handgun when he was arrested, and police say that there was a ballistics match to bullet casings at the scene. These weapons don't require the background checks of conventional handgun sales. How big of a concern is this?
It's really not a huge concern. There's a very relatively low prevalence of the use of so-called ghost guns or homemade firearms. It is legal to make your own firearm. Hobbyists do it. It's a Second Amendment protected right. There are already laws that cover any misuse of a firearm. There's laws that cover the possession of firearms by unauthorized persons, such as felons. And there's laws against murder. So I think adding more laws is certainly not any way to gain any control over the situation.
Well, how easy is it for someone to get a 3D gun and commit a crime? How long does it take to print it?
It's printed in a matter of hours, but let me just point out to you that when we say 3D printed gun, we really just are talking about the frame here. There's still all these metal parts that have to be purchased, the slide, the barrel, and the components inside. So really, it's like saying you 3D printed the handle. Of course, there are many unserialized weapons. This could be considered a ghost hammer because it has no no serial number. It can be used as a bludgeoning tool, right? This could be considered a ghost knife because there's no serial number. You could still kill somebody with it. So the presence of serial numbers doesn't make it easier or harder to use something as a deadly weapon.
Right, but for authorities trying to track, it could potentially make it harder for investigation purposes, right?
So tracking is something that happens after a crime, and ideally, law enforcement uses would be towards prevention of crimes. Finding out who did it doesn't bring the victim back. Getting the person behind jail doesn't compensate the families for the loss. So I think the focus really should be on crime prevention, not traceability. And you say that this was not traceable. Well, they traced the bullet, they traced the gun, they put those things together, despite the fact that this was a quote-unquote ghost gun. So it didn't have any bearing on the ability of authorities to tie that gun to the crime and use that towards getting a conviction.
All right, Steve Wolf, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Still to come, after months of fearing the